Hey everybody, Nick here. Welcome back to the channel. I have a video request that was given to me during a live from B Stevie, and he was asking me to share my thoughts about Efilism. Now I admit I didn't know this term, but I do know the concept. Like I've talked a bit about it in one or two videos that I've done. Except I would say Efilism is kind of like Antinatalism extreme on the extreme. So from what I was researching about it, more into it, it's a philosophical belief that advocates for, the extinction of all life, not just, one species or whatever. And they view existence as an inherently harmful thing. Now, my belief is I don't want all of life to be extinguished, even though I know this place is a demonic hell realm. And it's just, I just don't think that would fix really anything, because I personally believe we have some sort of spirit in us. There is something, a consciousness of some sort. Okay? Now, I know people are going to believe that, and that's fine. But what I believe is that. And that we will go somewhere after this place. Excuse me. Now, one thing that I've noticed about Efilism is that it is there is a notable asymmetry between pain and pleasure. Meaning that there is way more pain than pleasure, and pain is like very easy to come by in this life. Whereas pleasure, it's very momentary, very instantaneous, and very few and far between. And that I can't deny, yes. There is definitely more terrible things that go on in this place than good, whether it be pleasurable or just a moment of peace and silence. The other thing is bringing a person into existence without their consent is immoral. That's another thing that Efilism believes in. Now, I don't know that I would say it's immoral, but I would say it's irresponsible. And I've somewhat changed my stance on antinatalism. I don't think that I would bring anybody here. I just couldn't do it given the circumstance of this place, where we live, the how fucked up this place is, okay? I just don't know that I could do it under good conscience, Saying that it's immoral, I don't know that I would agree, because there's a lot of good people who do bring people into this world, and they are good parents. So, and that's another thing. I just don't think we should be attacking everybody just because they bring children into this world. Should they have thought, more rationally and thought twice about having a baby? Yes. I think everyone who brings in children to this place should have a home to bring them into, the comforts of raising them, those types of things. So I don't want to sound like I'm, a holier than thou. But I don't want to attack people. I don't think it's the right thing to do. What else can I say about this? I think that it's more of a defeatist belief. I think from what I've been seeing online, a lot of people talking about how this whole thing should be over and it shouldn't exist and things like that. But look at it this way. It exists. We are here. Why not try to find some sort of, happiness in this place? Yes, I know that's easier said than done. But what is the alternative? Do you want to live in, wallowing and just totally unhappy. And then people will say, you don't know, I have to work 2 jobs and this and that, and my parents are responsible. And I get that there's pain in this world. I know it. I felt it immensely various times. I've been to the extreme side of it. If you look at my videos over the last 6 months or so, you'll see. And it's because pain is essential and inescapable in this place. It's common. And the fact that I think a lot of people feel alone and can't consult a non-existent being about their desire or interest in living, we never know whether we're doing something that will contribute to this subjective betterment from the perspective of the yet-to-be entity, the yet-to-be born baby or child, whatever you want to call them. So people feel lost, and they get to a point where, fuck it all, this should all end. The other thing I will say about this is that I don't want it to end, because I love animals, and I've mentioned this many times. And I know people are going to say, well, you eat them and this and this. Regardless, I love my pets. I think that they are collateral damage in this place. They've been caught between a shitstorm. They haven't been chosen either to come here. They never chose as well. Humans always like to make it just about them, but there's many other living creatures in this realm. And that's what I think about Efilism. I think it's a very dark place to go. What I would like to see happen is the end of this matrix, for sure. I would love to see this, whatever this programming is, come to an end. But in the destruction, in the way a lot of people believe in this, philosophical belief of Efilism, I think that it's a very defeatist mentality. A lot of people argue that it's a nihilistic belief, right? And look, I'm not saying that life has a purpose in this realm. Maybe the purpose in this realm is to not come back in this place, to find a way out of this matrix, out of this simulation, if you believe that. Now, I'm not going to associate myself with people who believe in this philosophy. I'm never going to associate myself with people who are the antinatalist type that attacks people and says they're disgusting. Look, I get it. It's not a place for children to come to. I get it. But why should we get all nasty and attack people for their beliefs? Or maybe because they don't realize what this place is and they're still in the matrix themselves. They're stuck completely. They don't even think outside the box. This is probably another reason why they have kids. Some people have kids because they think that their kid is going to make a difference in this world, which may or may not happen because no one knows what's going to happen to this person. I don't think we can change this place. I don't think anybody can. But a lot of people have this belief that, maybe they'll come up with the cure for something, a disease. Maybe they'll end up inventing something that will help humanity get through the next century. It's all these pipe dreams. The last thing that I'll mention about Efilism is I was watching or listening to this writer talking about should humanity continue because of how much shit that humanity does here. Now, he doesn't probably share the view that I do, that this is a matrix or an advanced simulation or anything like that, or a hell realm. maybe he just gets a little bit of it because he can see the bad side of humanity, but he's still far off from, the point. But he mentions that should humanity continue, and a lot of people do not like his stance. I mean, it's not even his stance. I think he just sort of presents an argument and talks about the reasons why humanity shouldn't go on. I talk about this in another video, but the point is, he talks about the pros and cons of why humanity shouldn't end. And he'll mention like art and music and things that humanity has, quote unquote, created here, whatever it may be. And is that enough for humanity to have the right to continue to go on? Now, I'm just presenting this as another piece of information, but I do not believe that it should all end, except for this matrix, the way it was designed. I have a problem with that, where certain things die from whatever. I mean, I'll talk about this in another video, but no, I don't advocate for the extinction of all life, even though human beings are probably the most harmful here. There are still a lot of good souls here, a lot of good spirits. And those are my thoughts on Efilism. Let me know in the comments what you think about Efilism. I know I probably have a lot of people on my channel who are antinatalists, and that's fine. I'm a somewhat an antinatalist. I just don't think it's the right thing to do. But anyway, let me know what you think. And as always, in this case, thanks for listening. Bye for now. See you in the next video.